All right, welcome back to another episode. It's Mike Perkins, one half of MVP, one half of Mike and Vince Perkins, one half of Opinions I Like Podcasts, and for this here, I'm the whole show. So you see the thumbnail, you see the title. It looks like they're actually gonna, do the program, whereas they're gonna forgive $10,000 up to $10,000 of student loan, which is not really a lot. That's the average black woman, I think, is at like 43,000. So that's still leaving with 33 on average. That's if you even get it or qualify for it. I saw that it was like in California. I don't know if that's gonna be universal, but a lot of people were going on there and they were there's a lot of traffic on the actual website. I actually went on there. I don't have any debt. I have zero debt. You know what I'm saying? But, sometimes you just want to see what people are doing, but, couldn't really go into the website. But let's do this. Let's do a story time. I like telling this story. I think it's a very, very interesting story. I love it. So I was on a date. Once upon a time, I went on a date. I do that from time to time just to kind of, see what's out there. Because, I like, being frustrated and dealing with, crazy women. So I go on a date with this young lady who I had known for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully she doesn't hear this because the specifics of it will sort of give it away. So we're on the date and she shows up late, which is, I guess it's a big deal, not a big deal at all, whatever, I don't care. But we're on the date, and when she finally shows up, we're talking, and immediately, again, I've described myself. I don't like, like going in heavy on, how tall I am and, my hair and all that stuff. But like, you'll have women who see you, and the first thing that they think to say is, you will make some cute babies, got long curly hair, I'm tall, dark skin, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So they see those things and they're like, oh, you will make cute babies, you ever thought about having a daughter? And that's like literally probably the second or third thing she said to me, but whatever. So the date is already going beautiful. So eventually we get to like talking about ourselves, and I usually talk about my sons mostly because I'm super duper proud father. You know what I'm saying? Everything they do I think is wonderful. I think I have the best kids of all time, pound for pound the best kids in the world. I'll put my kids up against anybody's kids. My kids will whoop your kids' ass. So I'm talking about my wonderful kids, and then when it's her turn to talk about herself, she starts talking about all of her businesses and her financials and so on and so forth. She told me her credit score. She told me she owns, a bunch of properties and has a couple businesses and so on and so forth. So to me, the date is over, right? And not the date is over because I'm intimidated by a successful woman, but I have this thing where I say the more that a woman has, the more debt that she has, because the numbers kind of reflect that the more that a woman has, and especially single women, the more shit she got, the more debt she got. So date is pretty much over for me. At that time, I was completely out of debt. Like now, I'm completely out of debt. All my money is mine. All my investments are mine. 401k, retirement, all that stuff is mine. So she's talking and talking and talking, and in my head, the date is over. So what I say in my head is that I'm not just going to let the date be over and then not try something. I got to try something. I got to do something to make this date worth it. Let me see what I can do. Came up in my head, bing, bing, bing. Why don't you ask her what her net worth is? So in my head, I'm like, when she done talking, I'm going to ask her net worth. She done gave me all this information, so I would figure that asking her net worth probably wouldn't be a problem. So when she's done telling me all of the wonderful businesses, all the 17 businesses that she has, I say, well, that's nice. What's your net worth? She says, huh? I said, what's your net worth? Huh? What's your net worth, ma'am? Net worth. And she asked me, like, why would you ask me that? I was like, because, I mean, you didn't told me pretty much everything. You told me you got your credit score. You told me how many properties you own. You told me how many businesses you got. You told me all this wonderful stuff. Do you know your net worth? And she looked offended. In my head, again, the date was over. I saw what kind of car she drove. I saw what kind of, what kind of jewels she had, everything. The date for me was over. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't like the date was, extravagant or anything like that. Of course, I paid for it. So, what I surmised from that is that two things. Either A, three things. Either A, she actually just didn't want to tell me because she thought I was kind of trying to jack her. But I don't think she thought I was kind of, trying to jack her. She knows me. She didn't not know me. It's not like a person I just met out of the blue. I knew the girl already. Me asking her net worth was really just based on what she told me. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it was A. B, she didn't know what net worth meant. Of which I don't think she didn't know what net worth meant. You know what I mean? Because, some of the language that she was giving me kind of, made me believe that she was aware what net worth is. Or it's C, which is what I actually think it was, which is that her net worth wasn't really high. See, a lot of times what we do is that we accept what women tell us on the surface without getting to the bottom line. The bottom line is net worth. And a lot of times women will just lie. They'll over-exaggerate. You know what I'm saying? And not to say that people don't do that in general, but this is not about people. It's about women in specific. So we get back to this loan forgiveness. You know what I'm saying? That and as far as that date went, I never dated her again. I paid for the date. I got her an extra drink and I tipped the waitress very nicely. I tipped her way more than, I think I tipped like 40%. It was, just cause I felt that way. So, but getting back to this loan forgiveness, I seen on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram a lot of women clamoring to get their forgiveness on. The actual qualifications for it, I imagine it's more than this, but a couple of the qualifications is, you got to make less than $125,000 if you're an individual, and less than $250,000 if you have a husband or wife. So pretty much most people will qualify for it. I imagine. $10,000 is not, it's not bad. It's a good amount, but for the average, black woman, for example, it'll only be a fourth. I think that white women are around the same amount, maybe like a little bit below 40,000, but still around 40,000. I think that black women are around 43. But all in all, I think that my feeling on it is that somehow I'm paying for it. Somehow I'm paying for this shit. That's the thing that I'm mad at. I paid off my student loans like a regular person, got them out of got them off me and did the right thing. And all of these broads is going to be able to get their student loans, at least around a fourth or, 15% of it, paid off on my dime. And that really grinds my gears. I'm not necessarily against it, but I'm not for it. I'm not for it because I know somehow I'm paying for it. As a taxpayer, I know I'm paying for it, matter of factly, because most loans are government loans, and there's no possible way that I'm not paying for this because only less than 10% of the loans are actually private, and those don't qualify either. Those don't qualify at all, rather. You know what I'm saying? But I'm really not for it. I really think that they should have to grind the way that I had to grind to actually pay it off, since they're doing so well financially and they have all these businesses and own all these properties and have all these businesses and just 17 businesses. Yes, and their credit score is so high. Yeah, I think that they should ultimately have to pay for this shit themselves. It builds character, man. It builds character. I'll never go back in debt ever again in life. You know what I'm saying? And especially being out of debt during inflation times or times of recession or reset, or, it's really good to be out of debt because every dollar you get is your own. And when stuff go back up, of which I'm thoroughly invested, I invest pretty consistently. You know what I'm saying? Being out of debt, it sort of makes it to where you can actually do what you want. You know what I'm saying? And, in times like this, I don't really, do much. I kind of just stick to myself, make sure I'm saving, make sure I'm investing, of which I suggest everybody do. You know what I mean, get out of debt as quick as you can. If you can benefit from this student loan debt relief, do so, and you're welcome, because I will be the person, one of the people that are paying for it, who did the right thing and paid off his loans, and will be helping you to pay off yours. So get out of debt as quick as you can. Make sure that you are, after that, make sure that you're saving, investing at least 20% after you do that. You know what I'm saying? That's always a good deal. Try to own a house that you're living in. You know, if you're living in a house, you're paying a mortgage, you know, and you didn't got out of debt, you know, try to double up on your mortgages. You know, that would be good. Double up on your mortgage payments, you know what I'm saying, sometime. And make sure you have life insurance. Think that if you take care of those 4 things, getting out of debt, owning the house that you live in, investing consistently, investment savings, and also have life insurance. I think I said all 4. You know what I'm saying? If you do all 4 of those things, I think that, you know what I'm saying, you're on your way to being financially successful. Anything that you do after that is very much gravy. And that's from me to y'all. You know what I'm saying? So I know that we're going through this time and everybody's looking forward to this, you know, forgiveness. Don't take this as a crutch. You know, take this time to actually do something very, very positive. Write out a budget, write out a plan, do some very foundational things, and we'll get to the other side of this. But that's my time. I appreciate everybody, all the followers, you know what I'm saying, all of the subscribers, the people who comment, the people in particular who share my any of my links in the Discord with Ed, you know, Ed Anderson. Just appreciate everybody who's been showing love. The growth of the channel is really surprising, because I didn't think, you know, anybody was listening to anything, but turns out that people actually are. So I appreciate everybody, and that's my time. I'm Mike Perkins, and I'm out.